News starts right now.
The Texas coast bracing for Tropical Storm Nicholas as the system makes its way up the coastline.
Meteorologist Justin Horn and photojournalist Bill Caldera tracking Nicholas, joining us live from the southwest coast of Matagorda Bay in Port O'Connor. It's coming down. It is windy. Justin, what's the latest out there?
Hey there, guys. We're watching the storm surge pretty closely here. Winds have picked up. We're at about 40 to 50 miles per hour sustained. Some gusts up over 60 miles per hour. And I want you to see what's going on here behind me. You see some of the storm surge. The water is coming up over the road here. And I think we're going to see more. There is a barrier island out there somewhere, but it's not doing a whole lot to protect us right now from this storm surge, and the water's probably going to continue to rise. Also turn your attention down the road here, and you'll see that the trees are really swaying. We've seen some debris come off the trees with the winds the way they are. Again, some gusts up over 60 miles per hour here in Port O'Connor, and obviously some heavy rain. There will be a flash flood threat here, although the more significant flash flooding will be further up the coast towards the Houston area. We did talk to some residents earlier. Here's what they had to say.
Expecting more of and more intensity up into the evening hours. Probably might see a 70-mile-an-hour gust, I think, at some point. I think we've seen 52 up to this point here.
Trying to play it safe here. It's about time to call it quits and get home. Get safe now.
We're not too far away from where that center of circulation is, which is why we're seeing the really gusty winds here. We're going to be right on the west side of the quote-unquote eye wall, although this storm is pretty, it's not built well. A lot of the rain is on the east side of it, and Adam will have more on that coming up. That's the latest from here in Port O'Connor. We'll continue to bring you live updates throughout the evening. Back to you guys.
Heavy wind and rain, as you can tell in that live shot from our Justin Horn along the coast. We got a little rain today, but that's kind of been the only effect we've seen.
It was heavy when we did see it, though, Adam.
Officially at the airport, 13/100ths of an inch from that line of showers that moved through. Most of the rain with this tropical storm, almost hurricane, but it's a high-end tropical storm, is basically Port Lavaca and points northward, and that's where I expect the heaviest and highest accumulations from about the Sea Drift area all the way through Galveston, Houston, then around into Louisiana as well. Let's talk about the winds. Justin was saying he's in the Port O'Connor area. Their latest wind gust at their official reporting station, 58 miles per hour. And I know the neighborhood where Justin's in, he said they've got some home weather stations that have been gusting in excess of 60 miles per hour. Latest gusts, though, around there, 48 to 44 miles per hour. You head farther south, and the wind gusts taper off just a little bit. Still gusting to 33. Corpus Christi Naval Air Station and Port A gusting right now to 35. We'll talk more about what you can expect around here and the conditions along the coast, along with the latest track coming up, Myra.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Adam. As the San Antonio City Council prepares to pass its yearly budget, it's also considering changing up how some calls to police are handled. A big part of that is testing out a new approach for mental health calls. It's part of a pilot program through the Central Substation. Our Garrett Berger explains how it would work and why not everyone thinks the approach is quite right.
Starting this spring, the city plans to test a different approach for some mental health calls by sending a 3-member team to help. A team with a paramedic, a clinician, and an SAPD officer.
But one activist group thinks this approach could be better. Act for SA thinks that police officers don't need to be a core part of that response.
The simple presence of an officer can escalate a situation for someone.
Thomas doesn't want cops out of the equation entirely, but she doesn't think they should be on every call.
Lay out a clear protocol on when dispatch needs to involve law enforcement and when they don't, or even a third tree, which is maybe we need to have a law enforcement stand back.
City Manager Eric Walsh says they're following a consultant's recommendations, and he's not in favor of sending a team without law enforcement to a 911 call.
I don't want to put team members in a position where something bad may happen. I'm not saying it necessarily would always happen, But I think we have a responsibility to treat them like 911 calls.
Ultimately, City Council has to say on policy, and Thomas says her group and others have spoken with the majority of council offices. Mario Bravo, the councilman for District 1, where this pilot would in part play out, plans to bring the issue up during discussions later this week.
And so if there's an opportunity to send mental health professionals out without law enforcement when there's no dangerous situation, when no law enforcement is needed, then I'd like to be able to do that.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
And coming up in the next half hour, City Manager Eric Walsh will be joining us for our KSAT Q&A to take a closer look at that mental health pilot program and what else is included in that proposed budget.
Also new at 6, the man shot multiple times and left dying on the side of a busy road on Labor Day has been identified tonight. The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the victim as 31-year-old Christopher Anthony Donius. Donius was shot and killed Labor Day morning in the 2300 block of Calabar Road. That's close to the intersection with Bandera. Police say witnesses at the scene saw a fight break out in the area. Someone drove up in a vehicle and began opening fire. Officers arrived at the scene and found Donius with 4 gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Governor Greg Abbott signing Senate Bill 6, or the Damon Allen Act, into law today. But there is some concern it doesn't fairly reform the bail system. The new law would ban the release of people on personal recognizance bonds who have been accused of violent crimes. It will now require them to post a cash bond set by the court. The governor says this will make it harder for dangerous criminals to be released from jail. Opponents of the bill argue that while it does make some improvements to the Texas bail system, it's only based on how much money a person has. The Bexar County administrative judge believes that could become a problem here.
When we think of bail reform, we think of making the system more equitable and just for those that don't have financial means. This really doesn't solve that issue and actually exacerbates it.
There are also concerns that the new law could lead to more jail overcrowding, a problem Bexar County already is dealing with. Senate Bill 6 goes into effect on December 2nd.
They need your help. The San Antonio Police Department looking for help in identifying a woman in connection with the child sexual assault case. SAPD's Special Victims Unit asking the public's help in identifying who this woman is. Police believe she has information about a child sexual assault case that happened at the beginning of August. These images taken from a surveillance video at a convenience store in the 200 block of West Commerce. Anyone with information can call SAPD's SVU unit at 210-207-2313. A man is hospitalized after he was hit by a truck trying to cross the street on the city's northwest side. According to San Antonio police, that crash happened just after 10 last night in the 2400 block of Babcock Road in the medical center area. Police say a man in his 40s was trying to cross the road without using a crosswalk and was hit by a pickup truck that didn't stop in time. That man was taken to University Hospital with serious injuries. The driver did stop to help and, according to police, was not intoxicated. No charges are expected to be filed. The San Antonio police investigating a crash on the north side. It sent one woman to the hospital. It happened just before 1:30 this morning in the 10,000 block of Highway 281 South near Isom Road. SAPD says when crews arrived, they found the woman with a serious head injury. She was unresponsive in her vehicle. She was taken to University Hospital in serious condition. No word yet on what caused this entire thing.
The foster care system in Texas has long been described as broken. It's a system intended to care for children who've been abused, neglected, and removed from their homes. But many times it falls short, and these children are left with nowhere to go. A judge will hold a hearing tomorrow on what comes next for those children. Tonight, our Tiffany Huertas breaks down what's behind the foster care capacity crisis.
There are more than 15,000 children currently in foster care in Texas.
These kids deserve safe homes. These kids deserve a safe place.
But too often, these children are left with no place to go. Since the beginning of this year, the number of children without placement has consistently increased month after month. In July, the state reports there were 417 children without a traditional foster care placement for at least 2 nights. Over the course of the past year, Texas has lost 1,000 foster care beds, leading to a capacity crisis.
We need more loving homes. We need the communities to wrap around the children that don't have a place right now.
Tara Rousset is the CEO of SJRC Texas. The nonprofit was recently awarded a contract by the state of Texas to oversee foster care services in 27 counties surrounding Bexar County. She says there are a few reasons for the capacity crisis. One, the foster care system was not immune to the effects of the pandemic.
COVID helped. It was very hard for people to bring children into their homes.
But some of these capacity issues predate the pandemic. An ongoing decade-long federal lawsuit has led to the creation of new rules and requirements that some facilities have struggled to meet. While foster care providers are working round the clock to take care of these children, advocates say everyone can help. Rousset says that while she knows not everyone can open their home to become a foster parent, there are plenty of opportunities to volunteer, tutor, and mentor.
Maybe it's you can't have the kid in your home, but you can be there to make them dinner. You can help mow their yard. You can do those things that'll help the family, the foster family, survive and thrive while they're working with the child.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
A federal court hearing is scheduled for tomorrow to receive an update on the hundreds of children without placement in the Texas foster care system. Court-ordered monitors are also expected to file a report ahead of that hearing with new information about the safety of kids in care. A funeral service is held today for the U.S. Marine from Laredo, killed last month during the suicide bomb attack in Afghanistan. A funeral mass was held this afternoon for David Lee Espinosa at St. Patrick Catholic Church in Laredo. Espinosa was buried with full military honors provided by the U.S. Marine Corps Honor Guard at the Laredo City Cemetery. He was 20 years old. Still ahead, Bexar County commissioners are set to vote on the county's next budget. What that could mean for road construction projects. Next. Bexar County commissioners are set to vote tomorrow on the county's budget for the next fiscal year.
Yeah, our Samuel King joins us now. Samuel, the budget contains millions for road projects throughout the county.
Yeah, Stephen, Myra, $187 million in particular. That's part of a larger 10-year infrastructure program worth more than $600 million. Many of those projects are already planned. Some are close to those under construction, including a major project on Tally Road. Crews there are making improvements to increase traffic capacity and improve mobility, as well as flood control. Close to $50 million in funding for road projects would be allocated to Precinct 1 alone. That's home to some of the fastest growing parts of Bexar County. Commissioners were going over some last-minute changes to the budget on Friday. There is a public hearing set for tomorrow before commissioners would likely vote to adopt the budget. As for traffic this evening, we're watching things here on 281 north of Loop 410 here near Wurzbach. There was a crash here. You can still see emergency vehicles there. This was blocked off just a little bit ago so they could get over here to get out of the way of traffic. So traffic is starting to move in that area again. You see the sign there for Wurzbach Parkway, and you see those emergency crews still there on the scene. This is how that looks on the map. So you're down to 16 miles per hour right there near the airport. So here's how that traffic time looks between here and between this area. There we go. A little slow on the button there. 18 minutes now northbound on 281 between downtown and 1604. Normal 12 minutes on the other side. Also looking on 1604 to northwest side, these delays improving here, 21 to 25 minutes on both sides there of 1601 between 281 and Bandera. Some of the construction does resume tonight. We'll talk more about that in the next half hour. But again, if you're heading northbound on 281 this evening around the airport, just watch out for this delay. Hopefully that does get cleared up soon, guys.
Thanks, Samuel. Look outside with Sky 12. Pretty picture now. We were talking earlier about that downpour that some parts of town saw and what Nicholas may mean for us going forward.
It's been kind of an odd day. I mean, it was kind of overcast, then it rained, now the sun's out. We've got a little bit of everything going on today, Adam.
Yeah, we do. We just, the impacts from Nicholas will be very minimal around here. Even our eastern counties, that's Ulavaca County, DeWitt County, Karnes County, the impacts are pretty minimal, just a little breezy and gusty out there this evening and tonight for some of you east of San Antonio. So not much additional rainfall. I'm really not expecting much, if any, more rain from Nicholas. And then I think a dry several days this week. A little bit breezy at times tonight into tomorrow, but around San Antonio, we're talking wind gusts maybe up to 20 miles per hour. And not too hot this week either. I mean, today we were mostly in the 80s, and tomorrow's going to be similar as well. Okay, let's get right to the maps and talk about Tropical Storm Nicholas. Here's the latest info for you from the National Hurricane Center. High-end tropical storm, max sustained winds at 65 miles per hour. And it's less than 10 miles per hour away from hurricane strength. And over the next couple of hours, it wouldn't surprise me if it did become a low-end Category 1. Nonetheless, impacts will be very similar here going forward, no matter what the title and category this gets. So let's talk about it. Moving to the north, making landfall somewhere around Matagorda, East Matagorda Bay, around midnight-ish, give or take. That's near Port O'Connor, Port Lavaca, and then heading toward Houston, the remnants of it as it starts to rapidly weaken after midnight once it makes landfall. And then the remnants arc eastward, and the remnants will just be a lot of rain. And actually, most of this storm will feature a lot of rainfall, and that's going to be one of the primary impacts. And what's interesting about it here, you look at the big picture, and most of the rain is to the north of the center of circulation. I'm not going to call it an eye because there's no real defined eye, but the north of the center of the circulation and off to the east of it as well. That's where the brunt of the rain and even the highest winds are, just to the north and east of that center of circulation. Some drier air here as you go inland through Texas makes it hard for these showers to really swing very far inland. So let's talk about this going forward. I mentioned earlier, I don't anticipate much, if any, additional rainfall around here. Let's start this at 7 o'clock, go forward, and particularly Matagorda to Galveston, basically Port O'Connor to Galveston, most of the rainfall from now through midnight. Thereafter, spreads through Houston, moves eastward toward Beaumont, and then into Louisiana throughout the day tomorrow as it gradually weakens, but continues to wring out all that moisture and dump that rain in the air. So for us, or dump that rain onto the ground for folks. For us, 10% chance tonight and into tomorrow. And I have a 0% chance of showers Wednesday and Thursday. And then this weekend, completely unrelated, could pop a few little showers during the afternoon hours, okay? That's the rain. Let's talk about winds. Wind gusts lately. These are the most recent wind gusts. Port A, 35 miles per hour. Rockport, 33. Port O'Connor, most recent gust 50, but previously was at 58 miles per hour. Port Lavaca, 44. You see, closer to the center of circulation, we get those higher winds, and we're expecting the center of circulation to basically slowly push northward toward Matagorda and East Matagorda Bay and even Bay City through the night tonight. So let's go forward in time here. These are the predicted sustained or steady winds from the Hurricane Center. This orange indicates what could be up to hurricane strength winds, and that would be around midnight from about Port Lavaca through Bay City and then dissipating by sunrise tomorrow morning as it goes northward. All right, right now we're at 85. Dew point is 66. Not that bad out there. Temperatures for the most part in the 80s. Kennedy 82, 85 Hondo, Carrizo Springs 88. Often this time of day we're talking triple digits south and west of town. That's not the case, and Nicholas is to thank for these temperatures. Bernie 79, meanwhile 84 Rio Medina. So this evening, a stray shower or two, quick sprinkle, that would be it. I don't think it'll get in the way of outdoor plans. And then partial clearing overnight, temperatures falling through the 70s. By midnight, mid-70s with a few wind gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. If you're in Hallettsville or Cuero, you could see some wind gusts closer to 30 miles per hour overnight. Tomorrow, still a little breezy, north wind at 10 to 20, but nothing really out of the ordinary. 71 in the morning, 88 in the afternoon. A few stray showers possible early. Otherwise, just a mixture of sun and clouds, partly cloudy tomorrow through Friday, with highs 88 tomorrow, then mid-90s by the end of the week and into the weekend. A slight chance of some afternoon showers.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
All right, after a brutal Saturday, the Longhorns make a change.
Yeah, they had to start at quarterback. It probably should have been done earlier in the game itself to try and get back against the Razorbacks. That did not happen, but it will happen for their home game against Rice. That is by choice. For the Aggies, it is not, and we'll explain when we come back. After getting blown out by the Razorbacks in Arkansas 40-21, Longhorns head coach Steve Sarkisian is making a change at starting quarterback. Hudson Card is out. Casey Thompson is in. That's after Card struggled against the Razorbacks, completing 8 of 15 pass attempts for only 61 yards. His night was done in the third quarter when he tried to scramble and Zach Williams knocked the ball out of his hand. That fumble would lead to a touchdown and an insurmountable 33-7 lead. Thompson would come into the game and lead the Longhorns on 2 scoring drives, but too little too late. And the Horns' first loss of the season. Here is Sarkisian and his announcement and explanation.
Casey will start this week at quarterback. Hudson will play. Very similar to the same format we had when Hudson started and Casey would play. I feel good about that. Both guys have been battling. Both guys have been competing. I think it'll be good for Hudson to take a little bit of a deep breath coming off of last week's game, and it'll be a great opportunity for Casey to step in and battle and compete with the ones early on in the ball game. So I feel good about that.
Up next, Rice at Royal Memorial Stadium this Saturday at 7 p.m. The Fighting Texas Aggies are also making a change at quarterback, but out of necessity. That's because Haynes King has fractured his ankle and will be out at least a month. It happened in the first quarter. The Aggies' comeback win against Colorado and Denver when King was brought down by Colorado linebacker Guy Thomas. King would return to the field on crutches, is now out until mid-October. That means Zach Calzada is the Aggies' new starting quarterback after leading the Maroon and White to the game-winning and only Aggie touchdown, an 18-yard pass to running back Isaiah Spiller to win the game in the fourth quarter, 10-7.
We put together a 13-play drive and go all the way down and lose the ball on a half-yard line, going in the end zone. Instead of putting our head down, come back and make an 11-play, 77-yard drive and win the game. I mean, there's still a lot of perseverance in that. And for a quarterback to be able to do that after having a tough day, struggling the things he did, and we made some we weren't making contested throws, all of a sudden we did. Started making contested catches, all of a sudden we did. Started breaking tackles, all of a sudden we did. Making blocks, all of a sudden we did. Finding ways to get it done, and there's something to be said about that.
All right, the narrow defeat of Colorado has dropped the Aggies to 7, the latest Associated Press college football poll, before they host New Mexico on Saturday, 11 a.m. at Kyle Field. The UTSA Roadrunners are coming off their first shutout in team history in their lopsided 54-0 victory over Lamar in their home opener. The Roadrunners certainly jumped out to a great start when Sheldon Jones returned this punt. 76 yards for a touchdown in the first 3 minutes of the game, earning him Conference USA Special Teams Player of the Week. That's when Sincere McCormick took over with 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, an 18-yarder and a 6-yarder to push the Roadrunners out to a 34-0 lead at halftime. One moment that was pointed out to second-year coach Jeff Traylor by UTSA's Director of Football Operations Kevin Brown was the support of the student UTSA section.
As soon as the game was over, he's like, Jeff, you don't understand how special that really was. Those kids were there early. We were blowing them out. They stayed all the way through. Then they loaded up on all of our kids. It was fantastic. The coaching staff's going to buy pizza, and we're going to take it to the student body this week and just serve it to them. Just tell them thank you. And hopefully we can get more. If the rest of the Alamodome will be like the student section and the band, that place will be really hard to hear. We'll have to get some brand new headphones so we can hear each other.
All right, they had over 16,000 fans in the Alamodome last Saturday. Hopefully more this Saturday. Kickoff is set once again at 5 p.m. So they're winning. They're local kids. Come on out.
Build the momentum.
You got it. Thanks, Greg.
Our KSAT Q&A is coming up next. The City Council of San Antonio expected to vote on the new budget for the fiscal year in terms of how the city will operate and where our tax dollars will be going. So to talk about that in today's KSAT Q&A, we are joined by San Antonio City Manager Eric Walsh. Eric, thanks for sharing some time here with us this evening. Let's first talk about how this budget changes the way that police could potentially respond to mental health calls. We had a story a little bit earlier that shed some light on that pilot program this budget would call for. Why was there a need identified for this, and what would change if this budget proposal is passed?
Thanks for having me on tonight. So that's a huge part of our proposed budget, and part of that work goes back to the look we did over the last year at our 2 million 911 calls. And specifically, we spent some time looking at domestic violence, homeless calls, and mental health calls. And we get over 25,000 mental health calls a year to the 911 system. The proposal, and we worked with the Meadows Foundation during the year, who've helped other cities kind of develop a program. The recommendation that we've included in the proposed budget is that we would have a police officer, a mental health clinician, and a paramedic, kind of this team, respond to those 911 calls. And really that does a couple of things. It allows us to assure public safety. It allows us to rapidly identify and assess the situation. And then probably more importantly, it allows us to get that individual or that situation connected to the proper services or resources.
When you talk about something like mental health, you touch on so many things, and you just mentioned a couple of them. You've got the police response, you've got domestic violence, you've got homeless issues, you've got all these different things. Are there going to be more monies set aside for mental health issues, for the Center for Mental Health and for things like that that are publicly funded?
Yeah, we're looking to contract all that out. And the idea is that these teams would respond together in the same vehicle. Remember, at the beginning of this call, it's a 911 call, and that's how we're taking it in at our dispatch center. But too often, and not just here in other parts of the country, too often, these mental health calls have been left for police officers to handle. And we think that given the recommendations from the Meadows Foundation and our pilot that we're going to kick off next year, that we can handle them differently and hopefully provide some resources for those individuals and not just have a police officer respond.
And that's something that you told us you heard a lot from the community when it comes to when a police officer should be responding. It sounds like this budget would allow for some changes to be made for some lesser important calls so that officers can be focusing on the ones where their response actually is needed.
Yeah, Myron, that's the trick, right? Everybody's 911 call is really important, and with $2 million a year. But we did talk to the public this year about things like animal-related calls or loud music or fireworks calls. You know, the fire department, our code compliance department, our animal care services can certainly respond, and we've added resources in the budget for them to respond to those calls rather than tying up officers' time. You know, part of this is making sure we're balancing the citizens' expectations and making sure we're being deliberate in those interactions that our police officers are finding themselves in.
We've got a big question mark in any budget for the city is the police and fire union contract. We know that there's been some ongoing negotiations with the police union. Are you optimistic that we're going to get to a place where the city council will get to weigh in on it? I mean, where are we in the process right now?
So we're still negotiating with the police union, and our priorities, which have been set since last summer, are making significant changes to the disciplinary process. And that's making sure that officers that do completely inappropriate things, either on duty or off duty, don't have a chance to get their job back. That nobody in this country, whether you work for a city or a private sector, should be employed. And unfortunately, that's a balance that we are trying to strike. I'll tell you that from my perspective, that disciplinary system needs to be adjusted in favor of the employer, the city, and I think we can do that while still providing due process for a disciplinary system for the officers. But we've got to make changes. I mean, I expect it. I know the chief expects it, and the mayor and the council expect it, and heck, 1.5 million people in the city expect it. So we're going to stay focused on that.
What's the timeline? I mean, obviously, you'd like to have something done tomorrow or tonight at 6:40. But what is the timeline for when you expect a police contract to be done?
Well, you're right. I want it done now. Hopefully, I think we're making good progress, but it takes two sides to kind of work through those issues. And I think we've made a lot of progress with the union, but we're not quite there yet. Their contract expires at the end of September. And there'll be some changes that go into their healthcare costs will go up beginning October 1st. So I'm hoping that we can continue to work with the union and who I think want to do the right thing too. and we'll stay focused. But Steve, I'll tell you that it's making sure we stay focused and keep our nose to the grindstone and not depart off of what those priorities are.
This budget is not all about policing. There's a lot more in it when it comes to emergency preparedness, also public health, which we know what a role that has played over the last 18 months. But it is a record budget for the city of San Antonio, $3.1 billion. So if somebody hears that at home and says a record budget with that amount, what's it going to cost me? So what is your answer to somebody who's worried about where that money's coming from?
Well, the majority of the city's money comes from sales tax and property tax. The property tax rate is not proposed to change. Your solid waste fees aren't going up. Your stormwater fees aren't going up. Part of our budget is really based on a restoration of a lot of the cuts we made over the last 2 years. And you know, our goal is to make sure that we're providing top-notch services, whether it's at the airport or solid waste or the 911 system or the public library system. And we want to make sure that we continue to do that. The city's growing and we're here for all 1.5 million of our residents.
Eric Walsh, City Manager for the City of San Antonio. Always appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us on the Q&A.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. Just a reminder about some construction tonight on Loop 1604 on the northwest side. The alternating lane closures will continue between I-10 and Bandera Road. That's starting at 9 this evening, so in just a few hours, running through 5 this morning, and that is expected to last through the 25th. The difference this time, this also includes the frontage roads, but there'll at least be one lane open at all times. Take a look at traffic in that area right now, 18 minutes between 281 and Bandera Road. Speaking of 281, we're going to have some lane closures there too between Stone Oak and Loop 1604 this evening through Friday. So the overnights, they are installing some signs. A little bit south of 1604 still have this issue here. Hopefully this gets cleared soon. You see some of the vehicles moving out of the way. Guys?
Thank you, Samuel. Live cam right now, 84 degrees out there. I've been noticing this cloud cover. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of kicked up by what's happening with Nicholas? Is that the most evidence we have right now of a Nicholas interviewing area?
Yeah, that's basically our primary impact right now is some of the cloud cover. And of course that one broken line of showers that moved through earlier today right around the noon hour. That was a result of Nicholas as well. But now there's some drier air inland and that rain's having a hard time making it here. I'll have a complete update to the forecast, the latest on Nicholas, what it means for the Gulf Coast. We'll talk wind gusts, rainfall potential, and what it means for us coming right up.
A lot of talk about Nicholas today, what it means for the Texas coast. For us, it sounds like we're kind of done with Nicholas here.
Yeah, you get that from my tone, huh?
Yeah, I picked that up.
Yeah, the impacts are really going to be along the Texas coast, and they are right now, especially where Justin Horn is in Port O'Connor, and he'll be reporting in again later. But I want to give you the latest stats on it and the latest rundown of the track and where it's going, where all the heavy rain is. Notice over the past, 5-6 hours through this animation, there's a lot of rain on the north side of the storm. And on the east side, but not much inland. We've got some drier air aloft that's been working its way in, and those showers are hitting that dry air and really fizzling out and dissipating. So here's the latest. Max sustained winds at 65 miles per hour. Still, so it's a high-end tropical storm. Still has a little bit of time to strengthen a little bit more. Could be a low-end Category 1. Nonetheless, we'll be seeing wind gusts that are hurricane strength along parts of the Texas coast here. So by about midnight, I'm thinking Matagorda Bay is where this moves on shore, but already feeling the impacts. That's the key, already feeling the impacts there. Then the remnants as it weakens moves toward Houston tomorrow morning, by tomorrow afternoon, and then the leftover heavy rainfall kind of works its way then into Louisiana, arcs eastward. Here are the latest wind gusts. Okay, so not the steady wind, but the peak brief bursts of wind. Bird Island, 25 miles per hour. Corpus Christi Naval Air Station, 33. Port Aransas up to 30. But notice as we get closer to the center of that storm, these wind gusts about 60 miles per hour, most recently in Port O'Connor. These are just the most recent, not the absolute peak. These are the most recent gusts that have been detected. Port Lavaca, 43 miles per hour. Now, speaking of Port O'Connor, that's where we have some of the highest winds. Palacios to Port O'Connor, Matagorda Bay, East Matagorda Bay. Let's go to our Justin Horn there. Port O'Connor. Justin, you may or may not be able to hear me right now, but you've measured some winds in that neighborhood. Tell us about that and any damage you may be seeing right now.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Yeah, we did get a gust of about 68 miles per hour a little bit earlier. That was reported at a weather station right here at this house here beside me. But what I want to show you, you mentioned damage, Adam. Behind me, this roof just came off this house just within the last 20 minutes or so. Some of the shingles, and we're starting to see some debris fly around here. So we know the winds are really picking up some as that center of circulation gets a little bit closer to where we are. I think we're kind of on the west side of things. Storm surge is also occurring at this house here behind me. The water has come up quite a bit. And we're seeing storm surge about 3.5 feet above low tide. We are at low tide this evening, so that helps out a little bit. But storm surge is still going to be an issue. And the rain is really starting to come down quite a bit with some stronger gusts. For sure. We'll probably see this continue for another couple of hours here in Port O'Connor before things get a little bit better. But we'll keep you posted here along the Texas coast. Adam, back to you.
Yeah, Justin mentioned the storm surge 3 to 5 feet along that coastline, basically Port O'Connor area all the way northward toward Galveston, southward Rockport, Port Aransas, Corpus Christi, North Padre. A storm surge of maybe a couple of feet, maximum 3 feet there. Otherwise, let's talk about the winds, the sustained wind forecast here. These are the steady winds blowing near the center of the storm, 55 to about 75 miles per hour, coming on shore around midnight between Port O'Connor, Port Lavaca particularly, eastward through Bay City, and then quickly dissipating through the morning hours tomorrow. Here's the latest look at the radar. This is the nice detailed look here. The heaviest rain right where Justin is, right there at Port O'Connor, where my finger's pointing, just south of the sea of Port Lavaca. And this has been the trend over the past several hours, where most of the rain in the heavy rain shield is right there on the north side of the storm. And that's going to continue to move away from San Antonio, away from Lavaca County, away from DeWitt, away from Victoria and Goliad. Going forward in time, you see that heavy rain along with some of those higher wind gusts continue to move eastward toward Galveston, Houston, and then into Louisiana as we go through the day tomorrow and even Wednesday. So additional rainfall potential. San Antonio, a few stray showers, that's about it. But another 5 to 7 inches. Matagorda Bay, all the way through Galveston Bay and up into Louisiana. Around here, I don't foresee much of a rain chance the next several days. 10% chance tomorrow morning, then dry Wednesday, Thursday, a few coastal showers on Friday, then some of those afternoon pop-up showers possible into this upcoming weekend. So not much for rainfall the rest of the week. Got some clouds from Nicholas out there, 85 degrees currently, 0.13 of an inch of rain at the airport from that band that moved through earlier today. Obviously cooler temperatures closer to the coast. They're in the 70s now, but Del Rio at 94, 81 Bulverde, Canyon Lake 83, Rio Medina now 83 degrees. So a stray sprinkle or isolated shower. We're talking 10% chance this evening. And then actually partial clearing, a little breezy, a northeasterly wind at times gusting up to 20 miles per hour. But that should be the extent of it for us. Falling through the 70s. Tomorrow we'll start the day at 71. Make it into the upper 80s, 88 the high temperature, and becoming partly cloudy with the north wind at 10 to 20. As I mentioned before, we're looking dry, I think, Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, a few showers east of San Antonio. We're talking Lavaca, DeWitt, Goliad, Victoria counties. And then this weekend, we'll be in the 90s with the chance of a few afternoon pop-up showers.
All right, thanks, Adam.
In case you missed it, coming up next. Here's today's ICYMI.
Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, September 13th. One man's in the hospital after he was hit by a truck. San Antonio police say a man in his 40s tried to cross Babcock without using a crosswalk when he was hit by a driver in a truck that was not able to stop in time. The driver did stop to help. The man who was hit was taken to a hospital with severe injuries to the right side of his body.
They skipped school this morning, ended up crashing a car into the San Antonio River. Did they learn their lesson? Well, now at least one of the teens, an unlicensed driver, will likely face charges when San Antonio police say the driver speeding lost control of the car on Mission Parkway. The vehicle took out one city work truck, a parked vehicle, then plunged into the river near the Espada Dam.
28-year-old Gabriel Gaitan is now behind bars on 2 counts of intoxication manslaughter and 2 counts of failure to stop and render aid, and then crashing into the victim's vehicle near Highway 16. 2 women died on impact. Officers found her walking along Highway 16 just a short time after that accident. She was taken to the hospital for minor injuries and tested for intoxication.
We are in Port O'Connor in the midst of Tropical Storm Nicholas. Winds have really picked up here. We're probably seeing winds about 60 miles per hour right now. Gusts higher than that. Obviously some pretty heavy rain right now too. And the winds have really picked up just within the last hour as this center of Nicholas has come a little bit closer to shore. We expect that these winds will stay at this speed for a while longer until that center comes on shore, and we think that'll be later this evening.
Here's the latest look at those wind gusts. Port Aransas, 30 miles per hour. Rockport, 36. Matagorda Island, 46. Notice once we get closer to the center of that tropical storm, Port O'Connor gusting up to 62. So the winds, of course, stronger, closer to the center of that circulation. And around Matagorda Bay now, we've been seeing wind gusts between 45 and 60 plus miles per hour. Here's the latest on it. The radar showing the rainfall really staying hugged tightly along the Texas coastline. And that's basically from San Antonio Bay northward toward Galveston. And that's where most of the rain is going to remain. So basically out of our area and out of our viewing area and closer to the basically sea drift to Galveston, Louisiana around here. We're looking sunny the next couple of days, upper 80s tomorrow, mid 90s by Thursday. Some slight showers possible this weekend.
Thanks, Adam. And thanks for watching the News at 6.
We'll see you on the Night Beat after Monday Night Football.